Villisca, Iowa, in 1912 was a small, unassuming town with a population of around 2,000. It was a tight-knit farming community where everyone knew each other. Life moved slowly. Nothing much ever happened until a single night in June that would forever change Villisca's history and haunt the town for generations to come. The brutal murder of an entire family and their 2 guests remains one of the most chilling and mysterious unsolved crimes in American history. Josiah B. Moore, his wife Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, were well-respected members of the Villisca community. On the night of June 9th, 1912, they attended a church event, the Children's Day program, which concluded around 9:30 p.m. Accompanying them were 2 young girls, Lena and Ina Stillinger, who were friends of Catherine and had been invited to stay overnight at the Moore home. It seemed like any other peaceful evening, but no one could have predicted the horror that would unfold later that night. On the morning of June 10th, 1912, the Moore's neighbor, Mary Peckham, became concerned when she noticed the house was unusually quiet. The family hadn't emerged to begin their morning chores, and the doors were locked. After knocking and receiving no response, Mary called Josiah's brother, Ross Moore, who used his key to enter the home. What he discovered would scar the town forever. Inside, Ross found a horrifying scene. The entire Moore family, along with the 2 Stillinger girls, had been brutally murdered in their sleep with an axe. Josiah and Sarah were found in their bedroom, their skulls crushed. The 4 Moore children were discovered in their beds with the same grisly fate. Lena and Ina Stillinger were also found murdered in the guest room. The entire household had been killed while they slept, and the killer had vanished without a trace. The scene inside the house was one of unimaginable horror. Blood stained the walls and ceilings, and the bodies of the victims had been covered with clothing or bedding, as if the killer didn't want to look at the aftermath of his brutality. The axe, believed to be the murder weapon, was found in the guest room where the Stillinger sisters lay. Strangely, the killer had taken the time to cover mirrors in the house and even prepared a plate of food, which was left untouched. The windows were covered, and the house was eerily quiet, except for the sounds of investigators and townspeople gathering outside in shock and disbelief. News of the murders spread quickly, and the small town was plunged into fear. Who could have committed such an atrocity, and why? The Villisca axe murders triggered one of the largest criminal investigations in Iowa's history. Authorities interviewed hundreds of people, including traveling salesmen, transient workers, and even neighbors. But no clear suspect emerged. The killer left no fingerprints or clues, only terror and confusion in their wake. Some believed that the crime was the work of a deranged stranger, while others thought it might have been a personal vendetta against Josiah Moore. Several suspects were considered, but none were definitively linked to the murders. One of the most notorious suspects was Reverend George Kelly, an itinerant preacher who had been in town the night of the murders. Kelly had a history of mental illness and erratic behavior. He even confessed to the crime at one point, but his confession was inconsistent, and he was ultimately acquitted. Another theory involved a man named Frank F. Jones, a prominent Villisca resident who had a business rivalry with Josiah Moore. Some speculated that Jones hired a hitman to murder the Moore family, but no evidence supported this claim. As the investigation dragged on, the lack of solid leads and the growing public hysteria began to take its toll. The case went cold, leaving the residents of Villisca to wonder if the killer was still among them, lurking in the shadows. Despite the efforts of law enforcement and private detectives, the Villisca axe murders remain unsolved to this day, leaving behind a legacy of fear, speculation, and unanswered questions. In the years following the murders, the Moore house became the subject of numerous reports of paranormal activity. The house is now a popular destination for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts who claim it is haunted by the spirits of the Moore family and the Stillinger girls. Visitors have reported hearing children's laughter, disembodied voices, and footsteps echoing through the empty house. Doors have been known to open and close on their own, and some claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking in the corners. One of the most chilling claims involves the axe itself. Visitors have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread when standing near the spot where the murder weapon was found. Some have even claimed to feel an unseen presence watching them, as if the killer's spirit still lingers in the house, hidden in the shadows, waiting. The Villisca axe murders left a permanent scar on the town of Villisca, Iowa. Over a century later, the case remains unsolved, and the small town's once peaceful image is forever tainted by the horror that took place within its borders. The Moore house stands as a reminder of the brutal crime, drawing those who seek to uncover the truth or encounter the spirits that reportedly haunt the premises. For the people of Villisca, the murders are more than just a mystery. They are a chilling reminder that unspeakable violence can occur anywhere, even in the most unassuming of places. The whispers of what happened that fateful night still haunt the town, much like the spirits said to roam the hall of the infamous house. The legacy of the Villisca axe murders continues to evoke fear, intrigue, and sorrow, an unsolved crime that will likely remain a chilling mystery for all time.